All right, so what is this, 50 Lori?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you want to make site amendments?
Yeah.
All right. What maybe you can close the door. That would be helpful.
They're all having so much fun.
They are. But it would never end.
But everybody seems fairly
They seem pretty happy.
pretty happy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's terrific.
Okay, so Jay, can you describe what changes you'd like to make?
Sure. So what we have is in gray is the originally approved plan. And so during construction, in the back, when it was done excavate for the actual foundation and for the rear yard, a large amount of ledge was encountered all along this backside. So we then it actually traveled all the way through the foundation area. So as they were trying to excavate that out, it basically expanded like a giant bowl. And so a lot of the areas that were formerly shown as basically untouched in this area, ended up getting damaged during that time of the excavation. And there were some trees in that area that actually ended up getting damaged. The root balls were all damaged and everything else, and they ended up coming down. And so right now what we have is something that looks like this on site. Well, actually a little bit better this is so you can see the foundation and then basically the excavation behind it. So originally we had that area that we kept as natural with the walls coming around, but now you can see this access on that side. And you can tell that the original wall, which was going to be this back side that had the grade all against it, you had a waterproofing for the photo. That was going to be the high wall, which was poured as a high wall with waterproofing and everything else. So this was more of a kind of happened during construction where they were damaged, and they ended up basically getting to a point where they ended up had to come down because they were all just basically the root systems and everything else were just not in good situation. So because we have access around the property now, what we'd like to do is remove the actual 3 walls that we had proposed, install 2 walls just along the backside, and then just grade this portion. And then allow us to have a little bit of foot traffic through here, and then this way they have some movement around the backside of the house. And so it's, for engineering-wise, there's not much difference to our plan, because it all happens behind the house. But we had Joe, Dave, and Kim on site with Karen and Sean and myself, and Kim and Karen have worked together to ramp up the actual planting in this area because of those trees coming down.
Yeah.
So
I also, Jay, removed the wall next to the garage, which wasn't existing
Exactly,
on the
yeah.
street, and left it more natural. If you look up the driveway, you can just see natural landscape instead of having a 6-foot straight wall in front of you,
right.
which was the original
Exactly.
proposal.
So that's this wall and these 2 walls at the back. So basically, you can see how much less we were able to do by.
It is just Murphy's Law, isn't it? It was happening in that section,
Yeah.
with, right next to those neighbors.
Yeah.
And it's
So
a
we were
giant
approaching.
impact.
We were approaching. Dave, Kim, and I were approaching it basically as a mitigation for the 3 oaks that were cut down, and so spent a lot of time going over landscaping requiring more trees to be put in that area to provide actually a little bit more screening than what they previously had because of trying to maintain those walls, and then some of the side slopes come down that just weren't able to be planted.
So let me be clear, so you're getting rid of a couple of the retaining walls.
Correct.
Pushing it back.
So
The
nice
the original wall was,
a wraparound bowl, basically.
yeah, the original wall wrapped around.
And then there's the garage.
This was the back wall of the garage was retaining, and then this also was a retaining wall as you looked at the driveway. And now this is gone.
Whole area is
It's
gone.
gone. And so this wall has changed shape to more, I'll put this one down, to be more, you'll see it clear on this.
A little bit less.
So it's,
hardscape.
Push back a bit.
It's pushed back and it fans, so there's still a dense planting of shrubs on top of the wall, in between the walls for containing the slope. All the same species we used. And then when we came over here, we made this evergreen planting over here denser. And since we lost a couple oaks there, we're going to replace them. And that's also to help because it's now graded instead of, it's got a little bit of a slope there. So there's more, I think there's like 6 more.
How large are the oaks that we lost?
The oaks that we lost were,
They varied.
they
One
varied
was
in
at
size.
12, one was at 8.
Yeah.
Yep, they're right here.
They were basically telephone poles because they were already,
Very tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a,
But they
Exactly.
did no block.
Yeah, they weren't doing any
14.
screening really.
There's a twin 8s, a 10 and a 14. But yeah, they were just,
And so what size are you proposing?
4-inch oaks. And then the Pinus flexilis that we're adding are 12 to 14.
And with this situation, are you removing more dirt and stuff, rocks from the site?
it is there was some of it was removed, but because we're regrading, before when we were having the issues with the grading or the volume calcs, we actually had, I don't know if you would actually. Oops. We had this wall running all the way down, and so then we were cutting all the way back through here. So now we actually, even though this got cut, we're regrading all this back to be more natural.
So what's the net change?
From the approval to this, it's about 300 yards difference. So that got removed, and then
300 out or 300 in?
300 out from the original.
So what's the total out then?
Total out is it's about 1,100, 1,200 somewhere in there, and then the about 40% of that was the ledge, that soil.
Isn't the trigger 1,000?
but that's where the unsuitable material and the 1,000, they're allowed 1,000 in the back. And so what Jay's talking about is the total calc. I don't think you calculated it on basically taking into account the amount that meets that unsuitable material.
Right,
And
that's what I was saying about that 1,200, about 40% of it was ledge that was removed, and that's all based on, so from the earth cut removal, that portion of the zoning bylaw, the unsuitable material is basically an item that's not part of the actual foundation cut, so that's how we're working out, is that basically we're keeping the same similar cut through here. The only difference is that the ledge that got pulled out of this knob, which was all ledge, that's that 300 yards basically.
So you're saying that part of that 300 yards is discounted?
Well, we're saying, correct, yeah, because it was all unsuitable material. It was nothing, there was some loam, some soil on top maybe, but it was basically almost that entire thing was ledge from that outcrop all the way down through that vein.
So are you bringing more good
I'm just getting
soil
I'm
and
bringing
plant
up the
material?
provision.
Correct.
So I can read
So
it.
we're actually bringing in about 110 yards of
There's
fill to bring back.
Two things. Let me just bring that up so I can read it.
While he's doing that, you revise calcs for runoff?
For this change over here, we didn't have to update our drainage from the last time. Basically, we actually were showing everything going back to a trench drain through here with a recharge basin on the other side. Now we're able to allow the water to go through on each side, and eventually, because the design point's the same, it doesn't change the calcs. Because we already done our original design before we got rid of the wall on the side and cut it off here. Those calcs matched when we took that wall out, so when you remove that wall, it's the same as that calc before.
And something happened in the front there, the edge. You've got a couple more trees right here, and then,
We added 2 up in the front.
yeah,
It was-
it's essentially this, what did you do? You just sort of
This-
rounded it, you smoothed
This
that out a
wall-
little bit?
This wall changed.
Yeah.
It was out this way.
I want to stay away from you, I think you're a germ man.
I know, I'm sorry.
I know, you stay over there.
So
You wouldn't recognize me on the phone.
earth removal, the removal of earth from any land in any district shall be allowed by right provided the removal of material from a property does not exceed the imported material associated with the following lawful activities. One, the construction alteration of a way, including a driveway, construction and installation of residential septic systems, drainage systems, underground fuelage tanks, or utilities on the same premises that the system would be served. And 3, and or the removal of unsuitable material. The following instances are exempt: construction or alteration of a building or structure limited to the footprint of implementation, construction, operation, or work taken by town, operation, greenhouse, farming. So it's that number 3, and or removal
What
of
is
unsuitable
unsuitable
material.
What is that?
That's ledge.
Really? Is that
Oh,
in the
that-
definition somewhere, or?
No, I mean, it could be a bunch of different
Yeah,
things.
because anything.
Could be
You can
quicksand,
declare
could
anything
be
is
peat
unsuitable.
moss.
Unsuitable for what?
For construction,
We're gonna look at that again.
shall be allowed by right, provided removal of material from the property does not exceed the imported materials associated with the following lawful activities. So, yeah, and then after that, basically talks about anything above that is a special permit.
Yeah, above
So-
what?
Anything that is not excluded by those language
It's not-
or given those.
Anything
is a
that's
special
not
permit.
unsuitable?
So, I mean, that's where they could basically just feather out that stuff on site
Yeah.
as well, that
I mean, you
ledge
can,
material. but-
unsuitable is anything. You can say anything, is, if you're not gonna be using it on
Yeah,
site,
it could
it's
be a layer
unsuitable.
of clay, it could be a layer of,
It could just-
Sand or-
it could be
Yeah,
topsoil,
yeah.
if you're not gonna be using it on site, it's
Yeah.
unsuitable. That seems a
Certainly would be
little
unsightly.
funny. Yeah,
Another definition.
yeah, another one. Okay.
Yeah, so that's so basically that extra yardage is all basically the ledge removal. So, and even if we wanted to, even if it wasn't ledge removal, we could find a place for it on site, but one of the things we were trying to do was not change the front from and having that become a big giant grading difference as well from the original approvals.
You don't want a pile of rubble in front of it?
You didn't want
No,
to-
no.
It has to do with work. Just a hint.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We've already covered that here,
Yeah, I know.
you know, so we're moving on. Because it's late.
We have a lot of conversation about that. That would have made it simple.
All right, so, yeah, it's there.
It's there,
What are
right?
you gonna do?
And then at least, it just is amazing, it is just Murphy's Law that you have that, like, the other side.
No, no,
But I
no.
think that you and Ken have worked this out quite well, and your neighbors are here, so.
Right. And there is, I mean, it's way more smooth than that on one side.
Okay, thanks, Jay.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
try to take care of these things as quickly as possible. I think the last time we talked about,